congratulating all of you for being selected for this expedition, Women on Ice. And we are very happy that at least two from each of the member countries with cryosphere are here. I'm sorry that one of our participants from India could not make it. But as I was talking to you earlier, you will have to make up for two now. So that means once you get back, you will have to work twice harder to reach out to colleagues and so on. But I'm sure you would have, my colleagues would have told you that you are the first batch of, I wouldn't say women, first batch of ladies to come together and go up to this Ponker Glacier. I believe it is around 3,500, 600 meters. So I think along the way you will find out also, you will be observing, the connection between the glaciers and the downstream areas. And once you reach there, you would also look at what is happening there. And I'm sure most of you are now very familiar with the, the almost every day we get the news of disasters related to either glacial lake outburst floods or flash floods and so on, and as a result of the impact of climate change. Now, in the cryosphere area, the snow, the ice, they're melting very fast because in our region, because of the elevation, the snow is melting very fast. Glaciers are melting, our glacial lakes are expanding, and their threat to glacial lake outburst floods is increasing. So our region is highly exposed to the impacts of climate change. Now, why this work on cryosphere is very important is because it has got serious implications for people also living downstream. So very often we describe our Hindu-Kush Himalayan region as the third pole. So unlike the North Pole and the South Pole, ours is a little bit different in the sense that our pole is heavily populated. It's a populated pole. So whereas the ice melt in the Arctic or the Antarctic, may have implications, may have impacts much, somewhere, maybe in 20, 30, 40 years later, due to sea level rise. Here we are already feeling the impacts of climate change. We are experiencing floods, we are experiencing floods, lives are lost, properties are destroyed. So these are occurring now almost on every year. Just last September, end of September, we have 3 days of continuous rainfall here. And that is also because of the impact of climate change on the weather patterns. Now what happens is, we don't get rain when it is expected. Our monsoon, season has altered. But we get rain when it is least expected and in buckets. So these are going to occur more and more. So we have to be prepared and so on. So the difference is that we have millions of people exposed to climate events. That is why the science that you would be, getting into is so very important. Not only for the present generation, but for generations and generations after us. So we look at you as the role models for young ladies to come forward and participate in this cryosphere research and monitoring and so on. Because I think you have the potential to reach out to many more. You can have much more impactful, results than us. So once you complete these expeditions, once you go back, what we would expect from you is that you share, you become advocates for climate change in the Hindu-Kush Himalayan region, particularly on the glaciers, and the consequences of this melt on the lives and livelihood of people, not only those in the mountains, but listen to your colleagues, listen to your guides, listen to your mentors, and help each other, listen to your mentors, and help each other, make sure that all are comfortable, build your own connections, relations, cooperation along the way, so that you are there to help each other, you are there for each other. Because I think this time you have quite a big group, but in future maybe you have to go on your own, and so this would be a big learning lessons. So our colleagues are there from ISIMO, Crossfire expert. Miriam is there, Pinu is there, Sunu is there from Missimo, who else is going, Chibi is going. So four are going from Missimo. Neera is going also? I thought Neera is also going. And I thought Sharaj is going, but it doesn't look like he qualified. So, welcome once again, and I wish you a very successful trip, safe trip, and see you when you get back. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Prema, for emphasizing the importance of crisis and also empowering or promoting our girls to conduct this research, of course, with safety measures. So now I would like to invite our Deputy Director General, Isabella, for her opening remarks. Thank you.
So I think I'll do the same. I'll stand here. I hope everyone can hear me rather than standing at the podium. So, well, good afternoon, and firstly, I'm really glad to be able to meet you all today and really be here at this opening of what is the first Women on Ice. Women, I think women.
Girls.
Ladies,
Girls.
Women. Yeah. And of course, you know, this is a huge commitment we're making to really address the gender imbalances in crisis science and of course other related sciences, and really create the enabling environment for women to participate and engage in this area of work, which we all know is quite highly dominated by men. Actually, what is the proportion? Do we know what the proportion of cryosphere scientists are men and women? I was wondering that on the way in, whether we know that figure.
Very low.
9 to 1.
Very low.
Very low, yeah.
Not in terms of numbers.
So really, and of course I really would have loved to have joined you, and initially the plan was that I do join you, but unfortunately we have our board meetings this week, which were also set a very, very long time ago. So I'm afraid I would love to, but I cannot. But of course, very much, as Pema said, also look forward to hearing from you when you get back. I may be away, but I would love to hear from other ISIMOD colleagues how the trip goes. And of course, it's this trip to Ponker is not just a trip to another glacier. As I said earlier, it is also a journey of learning, of empowerment, and of course collaboration amongst you all here. Of course, all of you are coming from different countries of our region, and of course by prioritizing you as women to engage in this expedition, we are trying to challenge some of the traditional norms about women working in this area, but really open up opportunities for you and to build the kinds of skills and confidences. Confidence is also very important for those of you who really want to pursue a career in this area. And of course, we know that this was a very competitive process, so you have been chosen as the 10th participants. So well done for getting through to this, and I think you all show what talent already exists in the region, and that you all, as pioneers, I hope will really, as Pema also said, really act as inspiration for other women to go in this field. And of course, it's never easy going into a field that is dominated by another gender. I've had to do it myself many years ago, though, long probably before you were born, but a long time ago. But the hard work and the challenges are really worth it. So it is worth sticking at it perseverance, and dedication is part of anyone's success. And Pema's already mentioned this, but of course you will see some of these huge changes that you see everywhere, wherever you go into a mountain region. It's really quite staggering. I'll never forget when we were walking up the pass in Bhutan, and Fina was in front of me as we were struggling up the 4,500 meter pass, and I remember you saying, "Oh, isn't it sad?" Because it is sad when you see so much ice has gone already, and it's very obvious once you get up there. And once that ice goes, it's not coming back. And that's the really shocking fact, that that ice is not coming back unless we go into some mini ice age, which I don't think is predicted at the moment. And of course that ice going has huge implications in so many areas, which I won't talk about. Pema's touched on it, but you'll see it for yourselves when you're up there, and then it's good to think about, well, what does this mean downstream, because the implications are vast, and there are also implications that are not just limited to the place you're going, Ponker, but also to the downstream, to the country, Nepal, but also to the region, and of course the world, because when that ice melts, it has to go somewhere, and it disrupts people's livelihoods, and then people also have to go somewhere. So the implications are huge. But I do understand that the team has also put together a really exciting set of activities and hands-on projects that you'll all experience when you're up there. And I'm sure that when you're back, you'll have lots of interesting stories to tell. And I hope we'll get some opportunities to do some interviews, and so we can have that on our social media. So I'm hoping that I'll be looking forward to seeing those. And of course, you probably all know, but next year is the International Year of Glacier Preservation. So again, all this expedition and what you see and what you learn really feeds into this really important year where we're going to announce a Glacier Day, is that right? There's going to be a Glacier Day, and then there's going to be a commitment to a full decade of additional focus on cryosphere sciences. So we're really trying to push the fact that our region has had this much investment in cryosphere science compared to the poles, which have the Arctic and Antarctic, which is so much. So we're trying to push that message forward in all these global fora. It's not easy, but I hope that slowly there'll be a realization that actually globally we have to invest in the science in this region as well. And so hopefully that might help you in your careers as you move forwards. So I'll end here. I wish you all the best. As Pema of course said, safety is important, really important. Even if you have a small headache or something, you have to be careful with these high altitude areas. But I'm sure it'll be absolutely fantastic. I don't know if anyone saw the mountains today. We went for a walk up near, I live south of the city, and we saw Shishipangma today. It was really crystal clear. So Shishipangma is 8,100, something like that. We could see everything. We could see, I can't remember them all, Ganesh, we could see Lantang Lirum, crystal clear today. So I'm sure you'll have fantastic weather. Hope it sticks as it is today, and wish you all the best and have fun and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Isabella, for providing an inspiring opening to the session and motivating our participants to excel in cryosphere science in the future. So now we have Dr. Arun Bhattacharya, he will be providing insights on NTAP and cracks and managing cracks and water leaks.
Okay. Welcome to the first PowerPoint of the day, which hopefully will work. I don't know, that's not my PowerPoint.
Look like that's fair.
Like while it is being projected, just like to start it with saying that as you are well, you know about it, that the purpose, the main purpose of this whole event is to inspire you to work in this field, like attract you to this field. So we are taking you to the field, the mountain, to the glacier area, etc., and do some work over there. My presentation is also to give a little bit more push, to give a little bit more broader understanding of what's happening and why it is important, right? And while doing that, I'm also going to very briefly talk about how Ishimori is trying to respond to it. And this is one example of it. But that's when my PowerPoint starts working.
This is
The laptop is
while you're fixing that. Just one, I forgot few points. How many of you watch these serials or these television programs on these competitions? No, the Big Boss or something.
Yeah,
You watch it?
me also.
This is not an exercise in competition.
Boss.
You are not competing against anyone. This is a Hindu Kush Himalayan family. We are all one family from this region. So you are not going to compete against each other. You are going to build friendship, cooperation. So those are the key words. Okay? No competition. Please, we come from all, maybe different backgrounds, cultural understanding, background. So try to understand each other. And when you come back, we would like to see you all smiling and friends with all each other, not only just one or two, but all are friends. Okay, all become friends when you're okay. Okay, he's working.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Just to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, thank you, Vimaji. That was very important also. Thank you. So yes, it's working, so I can do it. But first of all, let me express my, real pleasure to be able to be part of this initiative. So the presentation is slightly different from what is in your agenda. I'll be talking about the crisis the region is going through, and then how Ishimori is trying to address it, and through what we call the medium-term action plan, which is a periodic plan we try to work on, and this time it's a 4-year plan. It's the 5th one. So I'm going to introduce very briefly at least the program that is responsible for holding this event and how we are trying to address this, right? So to start with, and you are mostly from environmental science, that kind of background, right?
Yeah.
Is that true? So what I'm going to present mostly will be not so unfamiliar. I will be showing a few complicated charts. So if you feel lost, please do interrupt and ask what is in those charts, right? Okay. So this is the region we are living. This is our home, which is called the Hindu Kush Himalaya, right? And just to indicate, probably where are we? Somewhere around here, right? It's not so best kind of map. It's Tibetan Plateau. That's Karakoram, Western Himalaya, Central Himalaya, and Eastern Himalaya, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Tibetan Plateau, Nepal, Bhutan would be here, and then Myanmar and Bangladesh, right? So that's roughly how it is. Now, what is very unique to this region is because of this, unparalleled vertical and horizontal kind of scale, we have atmospheric circulation called monsoon, right? Which is a combination of the easterly winds as well as westerly. The easterly we call summer monsoon, and then the westerly is westerly, which is during the winter. So it's also called winter monsoon. These two atmospheric circulations actually bring a lot of moisture into our region. That's the source of moisture, depending where we are. In the east, mostly it's the summer monsoon, whereas in the west, it's the westerly disturbances bringing the moisture. Now, what's important is that in high altitude, those moisture are dropped in the form of snow, solid precipitation. In high altitude, they accumulate for some time and then can convert into ice, which then becomes glaciers. With gravity, it slows down, melts, and gives water to our river systems, right? In low altitude, it rains, liquid precipitation, nourishes our aquifers, the groundwater, and also converts into surface runoff, which supplies water to our river system. So, because of huge amount of solid precipitation and ice it nourishes, it is also called the third pole, yeah? And because it provides water to our river system, it's also called water tower of South Asia. And that's why it's very, very important. Right. So here, what is shown is, of course, the Hindu Kush Himalaya region in the blue, and the brownish, areas are the river basins. 10 river basins originating from Hindu Kush Himalaya region. And out of those, 7 are transboundary, meaning more than one country share the area of the river basin. It is very important in terms of number of people living in the Hindu Kush Himalayan region, but more importantly, the downstream in the river basin. So altogether, 1.9 million people live in this area, which, to put it in a perspective, it is a quarter of the global population right now. So that is huge, right? So what happens to the cryosphere, what happens to the water system, actually can directly or indirectly influence that many people. So that's very, very important. But then, yes, things are changing. And we call, triple planetary crisis. I'm sure you have heard of it. Climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution of different forms, air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, etc. Right? But then these different crises are also manifesting very strongly in our region. For example, rapid warming. This region is warming more rapidly than the global average. And precipitation extremes are there. We are facing more and more precipitation extremes, both dry extremes and wet extremes, right? And it is projected that those extremes, both temperature extremes and precipitation extremes, are likely to increase in the future, both in frequency as well as magnitude, right? And then cryosphere decline. There are a lot of evidences that our cryosphere, glacier, snowfields are declining, which means the hydrological regime, the water system, the river systems are also changing and likely to change in the future. And then biodiversity loss and pollutions are happening quite rapidly. If you look outside, it's very hazy, right? The air pollution is a big issue. But I'll be talking about more, not about the biodiversity loss and environmental pollution, but mostly on the upper part of the bullets, right? Okay. So what I call is this climate cryosphere water society nexus, right? And this is a very simplistic view of looking at this nexus. Climate is changing and different things are happening, temperature, precipitation, we talked about that. What it is going to bring? It is going to make the atmosphere too warm or create less snowfall, right? And what does it mean? Rapid melting of glacier, snow, and permafrost. I'm now introducing another term, permafrost. That's another component of cryosphere, right? Okay. So too warm, less snow, rapid melting of glacier, snow, and permafrost, which could mean too little water, water scarcity. But then that can also be caused by less rainfall, because what we say, both extremes, dry and wet, are likely to increase, right? So there could also be less rainfall in some period of time. But then melting of glacier would mean formation of glacier lakes and maybe outbursts, formation and outbursts, glacier lake outburst flood. So that is too much water. And then also it would be more rainfall, would also create riverine floods, flash floods, and these are too much water, right? In general, this is what is likely to happen because of climate change, cryosphere change, leading to too much and too little water. But then the impacts are quite broad. It almost impacts everything, water resources, hazards, energy, agriculture, biodiversity, tourism, culture, spirituality, and all this means it will impact livelihood and well-being directly or indirectly to 1.9 billion people, right? So, okay, let me go into a little bit of, information, and this is coming from a report called HiWise, Hindu-Himalayan Water Ice Society Ecosystem Report. If you have not looked at it, have a look at it. It's quite, state of art in terms of, information related to those topics. Not going into too much detail, this looks at how glacier has been, behaving in past decades. What we have found that, the glacier mass loss has accelerated, in recent decades compared to previous decades by something like 65%. Now that was in the past, but looking into the future, using different tools, techniques, modeling tools and techniques, using climate scenarios, what is projected is that in a 1.5 degree to 2 degree world, by the end of the century, if the world is warmer by 1.5 or 2 degrees compared to the, the baseline reference period, which is 2015, this region could lose 30 to 50% in volume of the glacier ice, right? And then in a 3.3 to 4 degree, it could be 55 to 75. So any incremental warming will result more and more ice loss. That's what we find. And these scenarios are really, really extreme scenarios. And by what is happening and by what is likely to happen in terms of climate change and warming, the more extreme scenarios are likely to be more likely scenarios, right? Okay. Now, what does it mean? Glacier melting, glacier shrinking, and also continuing to shrink into the future. What does it mean? What does it mean for water? The conceptually schematic I have presented here earlier, which I call Nexus, but let's look at it in a little bit more detail, right? Now, this shows those river basins and how much glacier area are there in those river basins and how much those glacier area occupy out of the total basin area, right? Now, you can see there is a cluster with higher amount and lower amount, right? Those river basins like Yadavati, Salween, Mekong, Yangtze, they have very little, glacier area, but Amazonian, Indus, Tani, Ganges, Brahmaputra have quite some area. But then if you look at the size of the basin and the area of glacier, that might change. But in general, this side, more glaciers, yeah? But then when we look at how much they contribute to the water, or which other components contributes how much to the water, this is what we get. So these panels, of course the resolution does not help you too much to get into the details, but this is snow melt contribution, the middle one is glacier melt, and the last one is base flow. Red means very high percentage of the flow is contributed by that component, and greener it gets, lower, right? So red is something like 80% or higher, green is like 5-10%. And you can see large part of those area is, dominantly snow melt dominated regime. Very upper part of Indus is glacier melt dominant, and then most of the eastern river basins are base flow, meaning groundwater, meaning it is rainfall, supplied, because base flow is largely nourished by rainfall, right? So that tells us, which component is important where. And then we also have those information about which river basin is likely to behave in what way. So I'll not get into this. And then there is this concept of peak meltwater. As temperature increases, as glacial melt intensifies, conceptually you will get more water, but then as the volume or mass shrinks to a certain critical level, increased warming will not result into more water, right? That means it has reached the peak meltwater flow, and then it will start declining. So in general, it is suggested that around 2030 to 2050, the peak meltwater will be reached in those river basins, right? Now, okay, but then what does it mean for downstream? Because this is mostly about upstream, but then there are more people in downstream, more activities, agricultural, industrial activities downstream. So this study actually look at Indus, Ganges, and Brahmaputra river basin and trying to see where meltwater is more important for agriculture of different types, right? And again, here now the color pattern is reversed. Red is low, blue is high. And you you can clearly see in Indus basin, mostly it is, meltwater dependent agriculture, for example. But then if you look at other, it's lesser. Okay. So these are the kind of understanding, knowledge we have in terms of climate change, cryosphere change, and impact on water, right, hydrology. But then I have to add this. This is kind of number of sites where glaciological observations are happening based on field monitoring. So in this large region, there are only 28 observations happening right now, right? So this is very low number of observations, which means whatever we talk about, it has quite a lot of uncertainty because field information, field data is very scanty, and therefore we really need to improve on it. How can we improve on it? We can improve on it only if more people start working on it, right? And that's where I would like to link to our program. So that's also why we are trying to inspire you to work in this field. Okay. Now then, going to snow, that's also another very important, as you saw in that chart. Snow is largely dominant component for water in large part of the area. But this component is also very much decreasing, right? So there are some information about it. I am not going to talk about permafrost because we do not know quite a lot about it. It's yet to be explored, but it seems like it is also very important component of crash. This talks about what is likely to happen to extreme in the future, and this is very difficult topic. Modeling extreme in the future is quite challenging. It has even more uncertainty, right? So whatever we talk has to be taken with some, caution. But at least this study and few other studies indicate that extreme flows are likely to increase into the future. What is shown here is 50-year return period flow and how it will change by the end of the century. And these are RCP 4.5 and 8.5. I'm sure you are familiar with this, right? It is the older scenario, representative concentration pathway, RCP 4.5 and 8.5. Um, what it does is that 50-year return period flow in average is likely to double by the end of the century. That means extreme is, again, this is an indicator showing that extremes are likely to increase very much into the future. Okay, so talking about extremes, what are the other kinds of extremes, right? Glacial lake outburst flood, we have briefly mentioned. Different kinds of riverine flood and flash floods, landslide dam outburst flood, and increasing seasonal flood. But we also see more and more that the characteristics of hazards are also changing with climate change. More cascading hazards and more multi-hazards, right? Increasing. We have also observed that extreme precipitation in high altitudes are happening now, which didn't happen in the past. And permafrost-related hazards are happening more frequently, for example, like the Chamoli one or SETI 2012 and so on, right? So this is just a picture to show the 2016 Glock event, which was a transboundary glacial lake outburst flood event, originated from a tiny lake in Tibet, but then damaged, of course, also downstream part in Nepal. This is the hydropower intake site, Upper Botekoshi, and this is before the glacial lake outburst flood happened, and this is after. It was seriously damaged, and this is the reconstruction happening in that area. And this is just this year. In a place called Amin, again, cascading block, but very small size. Right? Okay, let me move. And then there are projections that this will increase in the future. Okay, so this is what is happening and what is likely to happen, right? So this was my attempt to introduce you to some of the crises that we are already facing and we are likely to face. Now, what are we doing? Very briefly now. So, recognizing the pace, the challenges, Ishimura embarked on a new strategy last year, 2023, in which this is our vision, a greener, more inclusive and climate resilient Hindu-Kush Himalaya, right? So this is it. And then there are a lot of other things which were put in our strategy. But then to, operationalize it, make it happen, we also developed what I earlier mentioned as medium-term action plan, fifth, within which we have a lot of different arrangements, including the institutional arrangement, the portfolio arrangement, right? So this is our current portfolio, which is divided into 3 strategic groups. You might hear SG1, SG2, so this is what it is, strategic group 1, 2, and 3. So strategic group 1, which I'm leading, and this is what we are doing. It has 2 action areas, managing cryosphere and water risk, which we call action area A, and then the other one is stimulating action for clean air, action area B, right? So NIRA is leading action area A. So, and the other are shaping green and resilient mountain economies and landscape and enabling regional and global mechanisms for sustainable action. So this is the strategic group, and then for this event it is managing cryosphere and water risk, which is organizing this. So this strategic group, what does it try to do in terms of addressing those challenges? Working on regional approach to address increasing risk from a changing cryosphere, because there is always this regional element, whether it is about information, data, knowledge, or doing something on the ground in a collective manner. The other is innovative and inclusive DRR, resilient river basin, regional approach to addressing air pollution and then climate change mitigation and air quality coping. This is the first 3. I will talk more in coming slides. So you saw in that graph strategic group 1, and within that 2 action area. The first one was managing cryosphere and water risk. So that action area is further divided into 3 interventions, which are as follows: promoting a regional approach to addressing increasing risks to changing cryosphere. So that intervention is actually holding this event, Women on Ice. Then the second one is related to DRR, promoting innovative and inclusive approaches to DRR in policies, plans, and investments. And then the third one is promoting river basin, resilient river basin, right? Okay. But then these are interconnected, and I'm trying to show how they are interconnected. So the cryosphere intervention, what does it do? Support monitoring, right? So this is also something which eventually we think will, support monitoring. Some of you will take the career in cryosphere monitoring and then contribute to this. Capacity strengthening, of course, this is it. Knowledge sharing, regional strategy, coming up with regional strategy, because we need to have a common strategy to handle this complicated issue. And also look at what are the impacts to ecosystem and society. So that's cryosphere. But then it has a very strong link with the second intervention, which is disaster risk reduction, which looks at mountain and multi-hazard, gender and social inclusion responsive approaches, and nature-based solutions. Again, also capacity strengthening is a big part of it, knowledge sharing, and with concrete, kind of intervention, concrete, solutions like community-based early warning system, integrated flood risk management, combining community approach with more, forecasting systems. And then, of course, wrapping this up is our resilient river basin intervention, which actually looks at more from a holistic way, because the space, we have upstream, downstream linkages, we have river basin. So what happens in one point of the river basin impacts another point. So we need to look at it, right? So science diplomacy is a big part of it. Coming up with framework for river basin resources and climate risk assessment, and integrated river basin management capacity building is what the resilient river basin tries to do. So this is in combination, what the managing cryosphere and water risk action area is about. So with that, I come to this concluding side, which is different from what I have presented, and which is very much similar to what our DG Prima and Isabella mentioned, is the cryosphere is not just ice and snow. It is actually life, right? And hope for millions of people in the Himalayan region. I would really like to convey that. Of course, we have seen how the cryosphere and water systems are behaving now. A lot of challenges. Climate change impacts cryosphere deeply, but with dedication from people like you, young people like you, I think, and coming up with innovations, we can contribute to sustainable solutions. I think there are still hope. With those solutions, we can still, make lives and livelihood better for people. And then, as young women, your voice and expertise can provide fresh perspective to the field that needs diverse leadership and ideas. We need different kinds of thought, different kinds of ideas. So young generation is very important. And women getting into this field is very important, because this is what I have been talking about, in a different context, is that, inclusive science is necessary for inclusive policy making or decision making. And inclusive decision and policy can actually help make science inclusive. So it's a positive feedback between inclusive science and inclusive decision. So this is what we are trying to do here. So let this journey inspire you to become champions of change for a greener, more inclusive, resilient future, which is, if you remember, is Ishimo's vision as well. So with this, you are also contributing to our vision. You know, it's not just Isimo's vision, it is our vision, right? So that's what I would like to inspire you from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Arun, for providing an insightful overview on glacier climate water nexus and also introducing the various activities that Action Area A have been conducting in the region, and of course inspiring our women in engage in cryosphere science and addressing the climate changes issues happening in the HKS. Now I would like to invite Dr. Meera for her introduction to International Year of Glacier Preservation 2025 and Isimo's contribution.
Thank you very much, Finu. Once again, namaste everyone. Today I am very excited to be here in this kickoff meeting because, as it has been already mentioned again and again, this is the first time that Isimo is organizing, bringing young women together and taking them to the mountains. So this is a very exciting moment for all of us here, and I would like to congratulate all of you once again for being a part of this journey and taking this forward. So again, I would like to emphasize that in the this HKH Women on Ice is initiated just to address that there is a strong gender disbalance. So there is a strong gender disbalance in the field of cryospheric sciences, and especially if you look at our region, it's more. So that's why we wanted to encourage young women like you all, because I understand that you all are not the student of cryosphere science. You are more doing environmental sciences, but we would like to, with this, open a window to all of you to see how these things are happening in our region and why it is important for you all to focus on cryosphere. So, and in this region, as it has been already mentioned and by Dr. Arun, that Isimo is one of the intergovernmental organizations in this region who is doing so much of work on cryospheric sciences, looking at the hazards, like the glaciers, glacial lake outbursts, floods, snow melt, permafrost thaw. Not only that, but how it is impacting the downstream communities and why it is important for us to provide them early warning, to save their lives and livelihood, and some of the climate actions that is important in our region. And again, mentioned earlier, the science publication that Isimo had come out with, two major ones that I would like to mention here. Maybe you might not be able to go through it now before you go to the expedition, but after you come back, I'm quite sure you want to have a look at it. The first one is HKH Monitoring and Assessment Program, HIMAP document that came out with it. If you have not gone through it, please do download it. It is free download from the web. And then the other one is Water, Ice, Society and Ecosystem in the HKH HiWise. And some of the authors and co-authors are sitting here in this room. So again, you are lucky enough to be here, and then if you want to know more about it, then we are always open to discuss with you and talk with you about it. Then with this, I would also like to mention that Isimo actually had almost more than 2 decades of this cryosphere related program at Isimo, and I'm very proud to say that most of the this program that was led by women, and one is sitting here, Dr. Miriam Jackson, who was there earlier leading this program. Then we also had Anna, we had Dorothea, So cryosphere is one of the intervention at Isimo who was actually led by women till now. So that's also to show that how it is important for us, like when women are leading this cryosphere program. Then if we look at the Hindu Kush Himalaya region, it's not only us, like that, who can say and put forward the voice. We also have to join hands with the global actors, global scientists and researchers. That's where we join hands with IYGP. I don't know whether any one of you have heard about it, or most probably yes, is the International Year of Glacier Preservation. This was This is very important that we join hands with IYGP, because in December 2022, the UN General Assembly declared 2025 as the International Year of Glacier Preservation. We call it IYGP in short. And then it also declared 21st of March every year as the World Day for Glaciers, starting from 2025. But then after that, WMO and UNESCO were invited to be the secretariat and take this process forward. And they are doing it, working together with different government organizations and different UN agencies, international, national and regional partners. But not only that, in August 2024, the United Nations General Assembly also adopted the resolution to declare the period of 2025 to 2034 as the decade. And it declared it as a decade of action for cryospheric sciences. So it's not only one day or a day every decade that we will be working on cryosphere science and leading towards, that's where we do more work on cryosphere sciences, because globally also it is now recognized that it is very important for us to amplify the voices of cryosphere preservation in our region. So though when you say that it is International Year of Glacier Preservation, the Secretariat has said that it's not only glaciers, but it is the entire cryospheric, sciences that we are talking about. It is glacier, it is snow, it is permafrost, and it is the downstream communities that are impacted. So we are talking about all them when we say that it is the year of International Year of Glacier Preservation. And then if you look at EC mode, Gunjan, I don't know whether you all know or not, she used to work with EC mode, and I'm very proud to say that she's doing her PhD in cryosphere sciences in UK. Cillian Pan, came here as our young professional from China. When she came here, she did not know about cryosphere. Now she is doing her PhD in cryosphere. She has even written a scientific paper on cryosphere. Miriam, again, she was here earlier working with us. Now she is with NV and ICCI, again, supporting us in this entire journey. So that's where we feel very proud to see that people working in EC mode have gone abroad and done quite a lot in the field of cryosphere. Then when we look at IYGP, how EC mode is contributing to IYGP, if IYGP has 4 different task forces in this initiative, the global task forces. Task Force 1 is on global campaign, 2 is on international conferences, regional workshops and capacity, 3 is on research and monitoring initiatives, and 4th is on policy, advocacy, partnership and resource mobilization. As EC mode, we are the member of all the 4 task force, but we are as EC mode, we are also leading the task force 2 on international conferences, regional workshops and capacity. So what IYGP has been doing is there are many events in 2025 that they have planned to amplify the voice, to save our glaciers, to preserve our glaciers. But the main one is on 21st of January 2025, a high-level curtain raiser event is going to happen in Geneva. It is a hybrid event, and they will launch IYGP initiative officially. So that's one. And immediately after that, 21st of March 2025, they declare it as the International Year of Glacier Preservation. And from 26th to 29th of May 2025, they are also having a Dusambe conference where they are again talking about why cryosphere is important in these areas. And then other events follow on, So 2025 will be very important for those who are working in cryosphere, the scientists, practitioners, also the academicians. It's very important for us to raise our voice for cryosphere preservation. And EC mode is supporting the international, the secretariat as the task force team members, task force team lead, but also also a part of their advisory board member. So we are there at the highest level to help them to organize these events. But EC mode is also, in our own, we are also doing few things for this IYGP 2025 year. Some of them I would like to mention here, not all. because it is a long list. The first one is in 2023, started the Cryo Hub. We started the introduction of IYGP and why IYGP, this international platform is important for EC mode. And then we want to come out with different groups who works on cryosphere. 2024, again, we had the meeting, and then 2025, likewise we will be having, because this is an annual event, and we would like to emphasize, bringing in cryosphere scientists, practitioners, and also academicians, and even the private sectors in to talk about cryosphere and its conservation. Then our DG was in the Arctic Circle Assembly in Iceland, again emphasizing the role of why cryosphere is important, glaciers are important to our mountain people, but also downstream. Then our DDG was there in Germany on the meeting on ambition on melting ice, again talking about cryosphere science and cryosphere, why it is important for us. Then in COP 29 in Baku, just finished, it was just finished. A whole team was there from EC mode, led by DG and DDG, talking about, emphasizing why this cryosphere is very important for our region, HKH, and then why we have to join hands to preserve it, not for us, but for our future generations also. Then we are also having a campaign, our communication lead, Annie, who is not here today, on Save Our Snow campaign. So that is something that we are taking it forward. Then this expedition to Ponker Glacier. Again, I would like to thank Miriam and the team here, because when Miriam was with EC Mode, she was the one who really thought through this program and brought this in. And then it was taken up by Finu, Chimi, and Sunmi. Then Chimi is also leading another very interesting work on tribute to Yala. Saraji just came back from Yala glaciers, and he can tell us, maybe in the informal interaction you can talk with him, you can talk with Chimi, how Yala used to look earlier and how it is now. So why we are tributing to Yala, because it is now almost going to be dead, So, but we want to bring in those researchers, those scientists who have worked in Yala to this place, And on 21st of February 2025, we want to organize a big event on that. And then the second Interpolar conference, which is on the end of November 2025, that we would like to bring in other polar regions also and talk about it. So, but not only this, not only the events, EC Mode is also contributing in science. We are also working on several chapters on UNESCO World Water Assessment Program's World Water Development Report, which is to be launched very soon. We are also publishing guidelines on standardized cryosphere monitoring, especially looking at the Hindu Kush Himalaya region and why it is important to standardize this. Then we are also contributing to UNDP's Warsaw International Mechanisms support for glacier report. So these are some of the science that we are also contributing besides some of the events that we are doing. Now, lastly, what I would also like to mention is that it's not a 1 day or 2 days, or a year. Our commitment is for the entire decade and more on how to preserve our cryosphere, because it is so important for our people living downstream and their livelihood. So I would also like to appeal all of you as young scientists. You should be our ambassador, as Pemaji also mentioned. We would like all of you to be our ambassador and take this message forward, Why in our region where we are living, cryosphere is very important, not only for us, for the livelihoods, for the infrastructure, for ecosystem, and for our future generation. So with this, I would like to really wish you all the best. I hope you will really enjoy the trip and learn also in the meantime. And we will be waiting, we will be following you, by the way, because I have requested Chimi to, post from every stop wherever possible. And we will be really following you throughout. And when you come back, we will be eagerly waiting to hear back from you. With this, I would like to thank everyone and request Chimi to play one very short video on IYGP that the Secretariat has come out with. Thank you and all the best to all of you.
In a world that is experiencing first impacts of climate change, one of the most significant transformations is occurring in the cryosphere. Glaciers, once emblematic symbols of snow's timeless accumulation, are now disappearing at an unprecedented rate, leaving a profound impact on our environment and communities. As global temperatures continue to rise, these ancient ice formations are receding faster than ever before, and the consequences reach far beyond the cryosphere alone. Glacier retreat contributes significantly to rising sea levels and threatens the delicate balance of our ecosystems. The rapid loss of glacier mass disrupts global water resources, leaving entire communities facing water scarcity as they rely on glaciers for their freshwater needs, and living downstream communities facing an escalating risk of glacial lake outburst floods. Collaborative efforts are crucial to understanding and addressing the complexities of the cryosphere's changes and to protect glaciers and their ecosystem functions. UNESCO World Heritage Sites are already witnessing this accelerated melting, with glaciers in a third of the sites set to disappear by 2050. In December 2022, the UN General Assembly declared 2025 as the International Year of Glaciers Preservation, accompanied by the proclamation of the 21st of March of each year as the World Day for Glaciers. This International Year marks a global initiative aimed at raising awareness about the critical role of glaciers, snow and ice, social and environmental impacts of the impending changes in the cryosphere for our climate, ecosystems and our communities. UNESCO and WMO are invited to coordinate the International Year, which aims to advocate for more ambitious mitigation, convene countries and communities affected by glacier loss, and mobilize the international community to share knowledge and best practices for preservation and adaptation. The International Year therefore provides a unique opportunity to preserve these invaluable resources and encourage collaborative efforts to safeguard the delicate balance of the cryosphere. In a world that is experiencing the first impacts of climate change, one of the most significant transformations is occurring in the cryosphere.
Sorry for that technical glitch also. So thank you, Dr. Nina, for highlighting the role of women in cryosphere science, introduction to IWGP 2025, and inspiring our participants to excel in cryosphere science and advocate for the changes that have been visible on cryospheres due to climate challenges. So now I will be providing overview of the KKH Women on Ice and its objective. The KKH Women on Ice, a first of its kind in the Hindu Kush Himalaya, is an all-women cryosphere fieldwork expedition which is being organized to address the gender imbalance in cryosphere science, particularly in field-based measurement. This initiative is part of the Cryosphere Initiative under Action Area A, managing cryosphere and water risks within Strategy Group 1. Similar programs have been successfully organized worldwide in various formats. For instance, the Girls on Ice program, which was launched in USA in 1999 and then expanded later on to different regions like in Europe, New Zealand. Another initiative in Central Asia is the Adventure of Science program. The HK's Women on Ice align closely with the Adventure of Science in Central Asia in terms of the age range, project expectation, and the overall objectives. We received over 250 applications. The selection process was immensely competitive because each applicant seemed to be equally potential. So we have this advisory team, and with the support of our advisory team, we carefully selected the most outstanding candidates. Today, we have those 9 outstanding individuals in this room, representing the CMOD regional member countries, with 2 representing each from Pakistan, Nepal, China, Bhutan, and 1 from India. We are very sad to say that 1 participant from India couldn't join us at the last moment due to her unfavorable situation. I kindly invite all those selected 9 participants to stand up, and let's congratulate them with a round of applause for this selection and wishing this for this successful journey. Yeah, please stand up. The HK's Women on Ice will take place at Ponker Glacier, located in Manang district, Nepal. This glacier, with its terminus at nearly 3,700 meters, is relatively accessible, making it an ideal site for this expedition. The selected participant will embark on this remarkable journey to explore the features of glaciers and glacier lakes, observe their changes over time, and understand their significance as indicator of climate change and water resources. They will be joined by a team of glacier experts, including 3 from ICIMOD, 1 external expert, a doctor, a videographer, and a mountaineering guide. In total, 16 women will commence this inspiring expedition to Ponker Glacier on December 4, 2024. The objective of this expedition is not just about scientific exploration, it's our empowerment. The HK's Women on Ice expedition is designed to equip participants with the knowledge and skill needed to excel in cryosphere science, including field-based measurement, high-altitude safety practices, and mountaineering techniques to enable independent research. Beyond skill building, the expedition aims to foster leadership, inspire others to break this barrier in this field, and establish a strong network of women scientists, creating a supportive, diverse, and inclusive community that promotes gender equality. During the expedition, the participants will collaborate on group projects focused on key area of interest. They will maintain diaries, produce blogs to document their experiences and share impactful messages, including call to action for glacier preservation as we approach the International Year of Glacier Preservation 2025. Upon their return to Kathmandu, they will share their findings, experiences, and outcomes to the broader ICIMOD team. By the end of this expedition, the participant will have gained a confident understanding of glacier and glacier lake features and the broader implication of climate change on this system. This experience is anticipated to enhance women's participation in cryosphere research and fieldwork while fostering a regional network of women cryosphere who can lead and inspire the future generations. So through this initiative, we are setting the stage for meaningful change, not just in the field of cryosphere, but in how we recognize and amplify the role of women in climate change. Thank you. So now next we have the introduction and the expectation program. So I'd like to invite Chimi. She has designed a playful session for this, so I would like to request everyone to stand and let Chimi navigate where to go and how to do it.
Hello everyone, good afternoon, thank you Pinu, and for this next game I'm carrying a ball of yarn and I would like to invite everyone including DG and Isabella to move to the back, everyone, and this is where we're going to literally engage ourselves. So everyone go to the back of the room where Niradi is standing. Thank you. I think I was here. Yeah, just like a perfect. I think I'm not. So the original sound you have to make the head as well. So we have a technique of. Yeah. Okay. So this ball here. So through this we are obviously creating a network of young women and women researchers in the region and beyond, right? So we're going to literally physically establish how that works, right? So what the task is very simple. You introduce yourself, and then you say what you expect out of this in the next 8 days. How do you want to come back to, and what is the message? It's not too long, but very short and to the point. And the rule is don't pass it to the person next to you. Pass it across the room. So you literally have to use some strategies or some sort. So I'll start with Tuba. So hold this, introduce yourself, and then throw it to the next, not next person, room opposite. So the info, and you just hold this to you, this, and then you throw. But first introduce yourself and tell us what you expect out of this.
My name is Subha Farooq and I am from Lahore, Pakistan. I have recently completed my MPhil in Environmental Sciences, where I focused on hazardous aspect of glacial lakes and how climate change plays a role in it. So, and this expedition is a great opportunity for me to expand both my theoretical and practical knowledge in the field of cryosphere. And I'm honored that I've learned directly from field experts in this, and I'm looking forward to contribute and learn as much as I can.
You have to tell it. Otherwise, you first right on the surface. Yeah, of course. Oh, I will.
You just throw it to anyone.
So,
Yes, you can throw to head. Good catch. Okay, I'm Tema Chamso. Please call me Tema. I'm from Bhutan and I'm now at the moment serving as the Director General of ISIPO. My expectation is for all of you to be inspired to become cryosphere scientists. So 5 years down the line, we have about 9 million cryosphere scientists in this region. Thank you. This is long, huh?
Dear all, hello, my name is Dr. Yingwan Jia. I'm from China, and now I'm a PhD, and the research topic is glacier. And firstly, I want to greet for the ISMO to invite me to participate in this expedition. And I think this is a good chance for me to improve my comprehensive abilities, such as knowledge and work harder and make friends with others. And thank you. That's all.
Keep the head. It's a good friendship between China.
But if it is more, that's true. Hello everyone, my name is Aishwarya. I am from India. I am currently based in Delhi. I'm doing my PhD there. My background is in international relations and political science, and my work is on the glaciers in the Himalayan region. First of all, I'm very grateful for getting this opportunity. I had no hopes of being selected because there's not a lot of social scientist work that is happening on the cryosphere yet. However, as we have seen through the presentation, science and policy, science and society, they all go together. And my attempt of joining this expedition and also doing my PhD is in a way to understand how the science can be better communicated to bring about a desirable regional policy change. So that's the aim, short term and long term also. Thank you.
You're choosing your target.
So hello everyone, my name is Sharifah. I'm from Nepal. Talking about my background is in environmental science. In fact, I've just completed my undergraduation. And I also work as a research assistant in an institution called Institute of Himalayan Mist Reduction. It primarily works on different hazards and disasters that occur in around Nepal. And about my expectation from this is to get the hands-on experience. Since I work in PR, I get it's an opportunity for me to delve more into the cryosphere area, and more specifically in the glacial outburst thing. And I also look forward to knowing every one of the participants and people there to know exchange a meaningful journey with this. Thank you. I think it is
Okay, well, I'm Isabella. I'm the Deputy Director General here at ISMOR. I've been here for just over 3 years now. And my expectation is that this is the beginning of a pathway where soon we reach 50% of women in climate science in this region. So I'm going to throw over to you if I can.
My name is Farhana from Pakistan, South Punjab, Bahawalpur. I recently completed my M.Phil Geography from the Islamic University of Bahawalpur. My research topic was impact of climate change on glacier, geospatial assessment on KKH region, and a case study of Ponker Glacier. So I have published my some paper on glaciers, resilience, and impact on agriculture, impact on irrigation systems. So this expedition is very interesting for me. Thank you so much for asking my question.
Hello everyone, I am Gina Rai and I am pursuing PhD in Environment and Climate Study at College of Natural Resources in Bhutan. And first of all, I'd like to thank ISMOR for this incredible initiative. I am very excited and grateful. So I'm looking forward to connect my academic learning into real-world experiences and to this shared journey with these amazing women, I'd like to take my experiences as a gift back home to the people I'm with.
Oh, Bhutan to Bhutan. Hello everyone, very nice to see you all. My name is also Pima, I'm the girl Pima. So as you have noticed, every other person you meet in Bhutan will be Pima, so yeah. Anyways, I'm doing my PhD in climate science from College of Natural Resources in Bhutan. I'm also part-time in WSO Institute of Snow, Land and Forest in Switzerland. Right now for my PhD thesis, I'm trying to map the permafrost areas in Bhutan, as it has not been done yet. And since I'm just in my second year of PhD, I'm really hoping through this expedition that I can learn more about what is happening in Nepal in terms of permafrost, not just permafrost as a whole in cryosphere science. I'm very thankful to this new team for inviting us here and then sharing, getting to share the experience with all other like friends of mine it would be really nice. And I hope I can take back practical knowledge as well as friendship, which is very important in like science. So hope to create good relationships and also learn a lot from this expedition. Also, one last thing. So before coming here, I just organized a cryosphere workshop in Bhutan. It was the organizers were three of us, like we were all women, two from Switzerland and I'm from Bhutan. We organized, all the girls organized this cryosphere stock-taking meeting in Bhutan, and all the participating members were men. So I'm hoping that after I come here, I got actually inspired to involve women in this. So after I go back to Bhutan, I'm hoping that I can inspire more girls in cryosphere science. Thank you. Okay, I'll pass it to Mom.
Hi, I'm Momtaria from Nepal. My background is in environmental science. And currently I am a researcher at KKH Women Institute, where my research mainly was climate change vulnerabilities within water sanitation and hygiene, which we call WASH sector. I am also a part-time lecturer at Women University. I teach undergraduate students of environmental science. And my body of work has mainly involved climate change and water. I'm mostly excited because this is my first time at the glacier, which is one of the, I think, the most important source of water. And I'm hoping to learn, this is my new domain, glacier is completely new domain for me, so I'm hoping to learn more about it directly from the experts, and also hoping to learn from the fellow women of glacier regions and getting to know them better. Thanks for listening.
Hello everyone, I'm Samantha from China, and now I'm doing PhD in Germany. I study permafrost, so it's my first time to see the real permafrost, and I'm super excited. Even I study Arctic permafrost, but because of the visa issue, I cannot go to the field this year. So it's my first time to go to the field to see permafrost, and with all the girls, I hope I have a good connection with all of you, and maybe we have some cooperation in academic or anything later. Thank you.
Me, right? Oh, okay. Okay, hello, I'm Arun. You know me. Okay, I don't know what to say. I think, as I said in my presentation, I hope that, everything goes on very well. You have a lot of fun. And of course, like web already is becoming so dense. You have a strong network between all of you, and then even after the event is completed, you have this connection and then communicate, share, and even work together. So that is my one of the expectations. But most important is that this again, the main objective is to inspire you to get into this discipline. So if you, a majority of you can actually take this topic as your topic, I think that would be the success of this event. So that's what I also would like to expect from this. Thank you very much. Mira?
Hello everybody, I'm Miriam Jackson. I think a few people here know me. I'm probably the person in the room who's the most excited. I know a lot of you are very excited, but I've been looking forward to this for more than 2 years. We had a meeting in Almaty and someone presented adventurous science in Central Asia. And I was sitting beside a woman from northern Pakistan and she said, we need this in the KKH. And so we managed to get it in the plan for 2023 onwards. And last year wasn't actually in the budget, so it was sort of my hobby, just like weekends and evenings, having meetings, trying to develop this, and then it started to get momentum. And it was, a lot of work, but I think there was a lot of support eventually, and there was a lot of applicants. We had several hundred applicants. It was a huge job. We suddenly, when Jimmy going through the applicants, there was so many good ones. We were looking for enthusiasm, and people who could use this knowledge, but people who might not otherwise have the chance to go on a glacier. So I think the ones who are here, you're very lucky, you're ambassadors as well. And I also, to be honest, as I'm standing here, I'm remembering being in this hotel for the first time in 2010 for the crisis monitoring program, when we first set that up, 2011. And that really gained momentum, so I can see this being the same thing. My expectations are that women who are on this expedition and other people in this room, that you will have these connections for years and decades. And this also reminds me, my very first time on a glacier was actually in Alaska in the late 1980s, a long time ago. And there was other students and, postdocs there. There was a young scientist from China called Tan Daniel, who is now one of the most famous glaciologists in China. Another young scientist called Lochan Dakota, who became head of department. So you really, as your careers continue, you'll keep running into each other and working with each other. So this is the start of something big. So I'm really looking forward to this more adventure. Okay, so Bijan, and then I'll give it to you as I mean.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank for inviting me also to this program. So I'm religion pastor, officer at KKH University, and my subject is glaciology. So I want to say something about the Ponker Glacier also, because the Ponker Glacier we have started to study from November 2008. So I was there with our students. That time also we have some students from India and Netherlands, but I didn't took these Afghanistan students also there at the time. We went 5 of them first time. Then we found that glacier is very easy to access also, and as you have already known that its tournament altitude is around 3,700, and of course the accumulation area is 5,000 and more than that also. So you can also reach not only on the lower part, I think you have to climb a little up so that you can see many small ponds which will be developed as a glacier lake in the future, so that you can see again. And regarding the other technical things, I think, when maybe because you are first time, many of you are going to the glacier first time. So when you walk in the lower part, it will be easy, but although it's easy, don't go fast. Slowly, I think the expert and the guide will also tell you that you have to go slowly when you talk around 1 hour, take a brief rest, and if possible, have some break also. So those will be very good tips for you also. So with this, I would like to
conduct or carry out whatever we have planned in the activities very smoothly and successfully. And on top of that, my expectation is to take all the participants to the Ponker Glacier very safely without any health issue or any climate issue, any road issue. So to take them and make them sure that everyone is safe, hopefully, and to, and of course, to learn, also provide them whatever the knowledge we have to transfer that to all of them.
So my name is Mohan Chan. I am an assistant professor in Kathmandu University. Also, I am one student of Professor Vision. As he mentioned, that there was program rice field monitoring program DC. I was also part of that program. I graduated master degree under that program, and then I did my PhD from Japan on nutrition rates and and then recently I joined in that Indian year as assistant professor. And then we have 18 students at Kathmandu University. Most of them are subjects. And then I expect that some of them become our facilities in students, and then we can collaborate together in the future with the academic research. I wish all the best for your successful team.
Thank you so much. I'm Neera Shrestha Pradhan. I'm coordinating this action area on managing price and water risks. My expectation, going right to the expectation, my expectation is that all 9 of you will enjoy the trip. That is the first expectation. Second expectation is when you come back, you are really interested in the subject matter and you become the ambassador of ECMOD, carry the flag of ECMOD and HKH and take this message forward to the world that why cryosphere preservation is important for all of us, not only for us, our future generation also. Yes. With this, I give it to you.
Namaste and good evening. I'm Diva Shrestha from Ponker University. Actually, I'm also working in cryospheric science since 1 decade. I'm just back in Kathmandu last week after this 19 days long winter school 2024 field expedition to the Everest region. Actually, I'd like to share some of my experience. I was there with 16 people, but at the end, only 6 people were able to make their way to the mission. That's why I always want you to, I think all of you are very excited to go to the glacier. Please keep your excitement till the end. Going to the glacier, it's very good to see the picture, when you're sitting in the Kathmandu. But when you are in the front, the situation is completely different. No one can help you. You have to help yourself. You have to determine yourself. That's what I learned through my this more than 30 times long, experience in the field. This year I spent more than 2.5 months above 5,000 meters. So I think it all depends on you. It's more depends on your mind, not with your physical condition. So prepare yourself like this and all the best. Thank you. So,
from Nepal. I also just came back from the Yamamoto country with the regional participants. I was excited to attend this online ice. The idea I floated in 2020 when William joined, long time back, but due to COVID and other reasons, it was just not what happened. So my expectation as Divas sir mentioned. So we are quite excited, and we, as Neeraji and others, my former colleagues, you are the ambassador of this mission. but also the networking, as well as the ambassador for the Ishimura to generate the knowledge and expand the knowledge. And we are so excited to hear every day of your update. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Kumara Sabe.
You are in right time.
I'm from KKH University, so it is my pleasure to be here with these courageous women, girls, and ladies. So who are going to this altitude more than 5,000 meters. 3,000. Ponker Lake or Ponker Glacier? Ponker Glacier. So I had been here just last year, so it is easy route and it has not much difficult. So I think it is good and it is not clear to see in front of this ladies. So I'm very much glad.
After a long wait. Most important person in this room. Anyways, everyone, I'm Sunil Maski. Most of you know me. I'm a Craftsman Research Associate here at ISMO. But I'm also a past student of Dr. Vijay Mukasa of the university. He's junior. I mean, like this network of this yarn, my network with all of you is different. And now I'm building a new network with the new team as well. Regarding my expectations, well, all of the fieldworks that I've been to for the past 7 years since I have been working on Glacier has brought new experiences. Every new field is a learning experience. So from this field, I'm looking forward to what kind of challenges that I will face. In a personal level, I hope to grow from these challenges. In a professional level, it would be a very good network with all of you. It would be a very good opportunity to share my experiences, learn from your experiences, and then use these learnings from this expedition and use it in the future so that we can make it a little bit easier for the next generation or the next phase of this program. So, because leading a team of female or male in general in the field is a very difficult experience in itself. So that would be my experience, and would look forward to learning it as well. He knows best. So that's all. Maybe. I mean, you need to introduce yourself.
That's it.
I am Shri Sagar. I'm from Bhutan, but I've been working as a communication and Eastern for over a decade. I know science and I read a lot about homes and why network and keeping in touch, knowing each other. So I think communication is important. And going to the field and looking at you and hopeful that you feel a network of women, which is much needed in Sweden. That all of this results into a better progressive society vision that looks in this climate change. So with this, thank you so much. And I finished. And then we have created such complicated networks now. Your role is not finished. So sometimes in the network you will have a lot of misunderstanding. And the basic to go back to is where it started from. So what you need to know is who was your immediate partner that extended to that network. So now we have to understand how to play a role in how they're clock. And so we are going to clear that clock in case imagining that there has been a misunderstanding. So with this, take a look. But we did very quick. So, yes.
strict monitoring and assessment program. So maybe it's me. I think we have to prepare when you come back. We also have a thing like that. Well, I'm up. So that we know that we are part of this human rights monitoring and assessment. Do you agree, Professor? Yeah.
Thank you. And so we are undoing this clock. So you have just put it back to the person with you. And remember their name. Their name.
Now you are fast.
Yes, I heard you. So this is what happened when you had to fill up the This is when it gets complicated.
Yeah. I wanted to make like that. Yeah. Now it's okay. This is life. Sometimes it becomes complicated, but we have to know, like, one deep. Yeah.
We are safe. You can tell who has run this before.
You're going to be playing this on the glacier.
Looks like not, we don't have much space here.
Not like this.
Sometimes it's easy. Say their name when you pass it.
You need something first.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You can make gloves. You cannot leave like that.
Go back again. Now I will go. Okay.
He's becoming ready to catch.
Language, basically, we understand how it works, and you're all set with the network. Thank you so much. Very boring.
ग्रुप फोटो कता राख्ने है गेटमा गेट We can do the packing later. Group photo is very
Now, now,
Can I use your charger to charge it? So we're going to take group photo now. So let's follow everyone and then we'll go to the group.
आओ पहले फोटो खींचिए पछि आओ हामी तपाईँ
And she said she met you when we get started.
Group photo. Suba.
And then she
Ground floor.
with street dogs. She also said she said you could appreciate yours coming back to home. It's a different school. It's just like your school as well.
Yes, he went to this
Yeah.
But making vlog from here itself.
Live streaming.
Facebook.
Facebook, YouTube.
Everything.
Yeah.
You are a vlogger also?
No, not a vlogger. YouTuber. I am making video for education purpose, GIS and remote sensing.
Really? Yeah. In front? You can keep your stand from maybe focusing more from here?
Yeah.
Thank you.